Do you think that it's clear that it is truly a sufficiently restrictive rate currently at the Federal Reserve?
That would be my base case, but there is a risk that it's not. And I think, importantly, the focus on the baseline, of course, is reinsuring. We want to know what's going to happen. But I think there is a risk management case here where it may not be restrictive enough. I think the Fed's view, I don't think people care what I think. I think the Fed's view is if inflation's stickier and more stubborn than they want, they'll just keep rates at the current level longer, or they'll reduce the pace of rate cuts. I don't really think the Powell Fed is thinking about hiking anymore right now. I think they think they're done.
You said if the Fed really is data dependent,
yeah.
And I don't think you're necessarily casting doubt on whether they look at the data. But what data matters most if what we're looking at right now is inflation data that is coming in hotter and, frankly, goods disinflation that seems to have ended?
Certainly the January and February data, if the PCE comes in, that would be the reason. There is some evidence, and I think the chair is correct, of seasonality. You know, that's always tricky. And in recent years, most of the bad news in inflation has been in the first 4 or 5 months. So I don't think we want to remove that possibility. I just think that a sticky inflation scenario is maybe not a baseline, but it's a very realistic case. And I think investors and people looking at the economy need to start thinking about it.
How do you perceive the balance of risks? Holding too long or cutting too soon? What is the bigger risk for you?
Well, I'm no longer there, so it probably doesn't matter. I think given that the last 3 years, inflation has substantially overshot the target. Look, I was a charter member of Team Transitory. It's looking better now than it did a year ago. But I think there is path dependence and history dependence in monetary policy. And so I think the risk management I would be doing if I were there would say there is a real, we want to avoid, we want to avoid having inflation shoot up again and having the credibility challenge. So I would be leaning more in a hawkish balance of risk mode than just hugging the baseline right now.